Hi guys. In this lesson, I just want to show you that Studio One has built up some key commands or keyboard shortcuts that match up with other DAWs. So if you're coming from another DAW, this might sort of lessen the learning curve when jumping into the application. Let me show you where to find these. So if I go to the Studio One keyboard shortcuts menu, then down here on the bottom right are keyboard mapping schemes. Currently, it's set to Studio One, but you can see that there's also keyboard mapping schemes for Cubase, Logic, and ProTools. So I'm still a Logic user, so let me show you an example if I switch to that keyboard mapping scheme. I'm going to choose this, then a dialog window is going to come up asking me if I want to use this scheme, and I'm going to click yes to accept that. Now let me click OK and show you an example. So a key command I'm pretty familiar with in Logic is to hold down Command and use the up and down arrow keys to zoom the track list up vertically or narrow it. So that's pretty cool that that works. And if I go back to the keyboard shortcuts menu and I type zoom in the search bar, it's showing me that same keyboard shortcut that's used in Logic. Now if I switch back to the Studio One keyboard mapping scheme, you'll see that it updates to reflect Studio One shortcuts. And this scheme is using Shift W and Shift E to zoom vertically. So if you have come from another DAW that's got a keyboard scheme for it, it might be a good idea to jump to it so you can really get into the application. And then when you get more familiar with the application, you can jump to Studio One's mapping scheme and start learning those shortcuts. Or you can even go in and create your own custom keyboard shortcuts. So you can use this learn functionality over here, hit a key, and assign your own keyboard shortcuts. And just bear in mind in the course that I'm using the Studio One keyboard scheme, so if I mention a shortcut, it's related to that. So you might just need to go back to the keyboard shortcuts if you're using another scheme and check what that shortcut is for that function. So my point really is if you're coming from another DAW and you're switching to Studio One, it might just sort of lessen the learning curve by using one of these keyboard mapping schemes. You can always jump back to the Studio One mapping if you need to.